Well, I'm Dr. Rayshawn Ray. I'm an associate professor here in the Department of Sociology at the University of Maryland, and I broadly study racial inequality, the ways that racial inequality is created and maintained in society. Implicit bias is simply the automatic, unconscious associations that people make between two concepts or two objects. Our unconscious biases are related to our attitudes, and then they're also related to our behaviors. So that ends up impacting what we think about people, what we think about places, and then how we behave towards those people. And these unconscious biases can unfortunately then come out in preferences or discrimination against other people. I mean, implicit bias is something that everyone actually does in various ways. But for police officers, this can actually be deadly. It can be deadly for citizens, and it can also be deadly for themselves if they are approaching people in a different way. So we have officers take implicit association tests that get at how they view people of different skin tones, of different races, of different nationalities and ethnicities. And all of a sudden, this helps them to realize their implicit biases. And then we say, instead of running away from those biases, instead of saying that they don't exist, how about you take them head on? And you do that by acknowledging that they exist and then figuring out some of the things that you can do. The second thing we do is we then actually take officers through a series of exercises that help them to realize the implicit biases that people hold of them. In other words, what do people think about them, where they come from, what they look like? And once you make things a bit more personal to people, then all of a sudden people start being able to better realize the way that implicit bias impacts their lives. That first step starts with planting a seed that all of us hold implicit biases. And for those of us who hold biases about people's identities, about their race, about their gender, about their sexual orientation, we actually can work on those over time to actually then change our attitudes and, more importantly, our behaviors in the way that we treat other people. And once you understand what your biases are, then you can work to hold them in check. And part of that is working to hold them in check. Don't run away from them. Actually acknowledge that they exist. It doesn't mean that a person is a racist or a sexist. I mean, it could, but oftentimes it simply means that people have preferences and biases that we want to make sure we hold in check so that we treat everyone equitably.